Year's Eve. I got one fat boy. I'll be giving my NBA game predictions for December 31st of 2021. Tonight there is 10 games for New Year's Eve. I got all my spreads from FanDuel, and then all the over-unders are what I think the games will be. For the Suns at Boston, I'll be leaning towards Phoenix minus 3.5, even though their centers are out. They have just Jalen Smith left, and they're just signed a G Leaguer. I think Phoenix has enough tools to take down Boston as they're without some key players. I believe Tatum's out. So I think the Suns should be able to figure out a way to pull out a win. And I'll be going over 215.5 as Boston should be able to score more easily against the Suns just because they don't have the Suns don't have their front court. So the Phoenix defense will be weaker. And then Suns still have their back court. So they'll be able to score no problem still. So over 215.5. For the Bulls at the Pacers, I'll be leaning towards Chicago minus 3.5. Chicago has been playing very hot, so it's hard to bet against them right now. And the Pacers, they just have those games where they just look really bad like their last game, so it's hard to bet for them usually. But so this just makes it easy to bet for the Bulls. You could almost take the Bulls like much more than 3.5, like probably above 6.5 and more. Then over 213.5, mostly because I think the Bulls can score a lot this game, and I was kind of torn of should I do under 220 or over 213, and I think I'd be going over 213.5 because that will have a greater payout. For the Mavericks at the Kings, I'll be leaning towards Dallas plus 0.5, so Dallas basically money line. They did lose against the Kings last time, so I'm betting that they'll make the adjustment against the Kings to get the win. Personally, I would not bet on the spread at this game at all. Usually if games like 50-50 like this against a team that doesn't have all their players and then just a low-tier team like the Kings, generally not the smartest to bet on the spread. But for over-under, I think it's safe to go over 217.5 as I think the Kings will put up a lot of points and Dallas should be able to keep up. So over 217.5. Miami at Houston, leaning towards Miami minus 4.5. I think just what Miami has right now with Butler and Hero, and then if Robinson has a good game, easy Miami 4.5. But even if Robinson has a mediocre game, it's I think the experience from Butler just slow down the game some, have Houston try and defend, and then deal with Miami's offense and also their defense. Rockets aren't going to be in for a good time. Hence, I'll be leaning towards under 219.5 because Miami's defense should slow down the Rockets. Miami doesn't score the ball crazy amounts, so scoring 120 by them is not very likely. So I'll be leaning towards under 219.5. For the Clippers at the Raptors, so I'll be leaning towards Clippers plus 5.5. I know Clippers are missing a lot of players, but I never see the Raptors blowing away a team. And then Clippers, they still have enough tools to keep the game close. I do expect the Raptors to end up winning, but I just expect this to be a close game, within the 5-point range. It'd probably be safer to take the Clippers plus 9.5 or 7.5. I'll be going under 220.5 as I really don't know who to expect is going to be doing all the scoring, as the Clippers, they can defend. Toronto, they can defend too. So trying to get over 220 between them, I don't see that very likely, so hence I'll be going with that. For the Hawks at Cleveland, I'll be leaning towards Atlanta plus 1. Cleveland played last night, so they're going to be a little more tired. Rubio is out, so the the core to that second unit is out. So when the starters aren't in, Cleveland's going to struggle a lot. And Atlanta should take advantage of this. And they should finish within 1 point. They should win this game. You were one of the better teams last year. You should be able to handle a decent team that's down some key players. But should be a close game still overall. I'll be going under 215.5 as Atlanta's been struggling to score the ball a lot. And Cleveland doesn't have the main facilitator in Rubio, so harder for them to score, so under 215.5. For the Knicks at the Thunder, so I'll be leaning towards Knicks minus 6.5. The Thunder don't have all their players. Their important players are out, so basically a G League unit coming at the Knicks, so Knicks should handle that. Their defense should really hold down the Thunder. Going to be hard for them to score. So, like, I watched that fourth quarter for the Suns in the OKC game, and if a team is playing defense on the Thunder, I don't know who they can pass to is going to get that bucket. Just pass it around, hope the ball goes in. So if they're playing that for 4 quarters, Knicks should walk away with this pretty easy, like holding Thunder under 90 points. So under 211.5 seems pretty safe, as Knicks also, just in general, they're not a high-scoring team. I think they just struggle to put the ball in the basket a lot of the times, but they should come out with a win with this. Spurs at the Grizzlies. I'll be leaning towards Memphis minus 7. Memphis has been playing well. They came back against the Lakers after being down big, so they have the grit and grind like in the past, but a little more faster nowadays. They should be able to handle the Spurs. Memphis is trying to stay in that top half of the Western Conference. I expect it to be higher scoring, as these are younger teams that are going to be up and down, very fast game. Over 250.5 seems mostly safe. Like, I expect the over-under to be like 222 when it comes out. So over 250.5 should be very safe, as I don't expect Memphis' defense to really hold down the Spurs that much, like extremely. Like, Spurs should still get 100 points, and I don't expect Spurs defense to slow down Memphis at all. So Memphis should still get their like 115 without any problem. So over 215.5 seems very safe. For the Wolves at Utah, I'll be leaning towards Minnesota plus 10.5. So Utah, they'll win this game. Don't get me wrong, but win by more than 10.5? I don't think so. Minnesota has enough tools. They're young and agile. They should be able to like rotate on defense against the Jazz, at least slow them down, keep the game close, like hit their open shots when it comes to that. So at least like keep them in the game. Like, they should stay within the first half. Like, if it's close in the first half after high scoring, this will stay within 10.5. It will come down to the Utah probably like adjusting the fourth quarter and winning the game from there. Then for the over-under, over 221.5, as Utah should have no problem scoring the ball. Which I think, even though I think there's enough high potential in like athletes for the Minnesota, they're just a very athletic team that can slow down Utah. And then who's going to score the ball a lot for the Wolves, but I think it'll just end up being like the teams will figure out how to score the ball. These are high-scoring teams. It will go over 221.5. For Portland at the Lakers, I can't ever bet with the Lakers. They just always seem somehow to fumble. So Portland plus 6. The defense by the wings, by the Lakers, and just in general, not great. So Portland should stay close as long as they hit their open shots, make their threes. Should stay close, as the Lakers will have to rely heavily on LeBron, as he's been literally backpacking them. So over 218.5 due to the fact that Lakers defense shouldn't slow down Portland. Portland's defense shouldn't slow down the Lakers. It's just really depending on the Lakers, how they feel, how old they are, how many points they want to score. And then Portland just has to knock down their shots. So I honestly think it should stay close. If a team does pull away, it should be the Lakers, as LeBron can get hot, get his teammates involved. Like, if the role players for the Lakers start to hit their shots, just change your bet to Lakers win by a lot, because I don't think Portland will have an answer for that. Thank you for watching. Comment any of your predictions for the spreads, over-unders, or any player picks. And thank you for watching.